Hi, my name's Neil, and I'm writing my senior honors thesis on medical conspiracy theories. This is an especially relevant topic right now thanks to the coronavirus pandemic. There's been a sharp increase in conspiracy literature going around. So, my goal was to go through conspiracy forums and identify patterns across every medical conspiracy article I could find. What I found was that in every conspiracy article, there's some sort of kernel of truth in there about something that is actually going on. I'll explain more what I mean later. Really, another pattern I saw is that there's this mistrust between conspiracy believers and healthcare, and this mistrust is founded on two main partnerships that healthcare is pretty much forced to make, and that's through partnerships with the corporations and partnerships with the government. First, I'm going to discuss partnerships with the government. So I call these public conspiracy theories, and these conspiracy theories, like a lot of conspiracy theories, sound ridiculous. For example, AIDS was created to kill black people or to kill heroin addicts. Now, this is obviously not true and a ridiculous statement, but it starts sounding less ridiculous when you juxtapose it with actual atrocities the government has done. For example, the Tuskegee syphilis experiment, a notoriously racist experiment, that is a good example of an atrocity that conspiracy theorists often bring up. Another is the Nashville Women experiment, which was when, from 1945 to 1976, 800 women were injected with the radioisotope and told that it was vitamins to help their unborn children. All of these pregnant women ended up dying, and all of their children were aborted. Now, these horrible atrocities really did happen. They're not conspiracies. And people use these atrocities to justify their beliefs in other conspiracies because it creates this mistrust among the government. People don't trust the government works with healthcare, and in turn, people don't trust healthcare. The same logic extends to government or healthcare partnerships with corporations. These conspiracies also sound ridiculous. For example, corporations are hiding the cure for chronic diseases like cancer in order to make a profit because chemotherapy drugs are more profitable. But lying to that degree sounds impossible and ridiculous. But it sounds less ridiculous when you hear about the lengths corporations have gone to lie about their medications. For example, Nestle lied about the effectiveness of infant formula to multiple Latin American countries. They would send workers down there dressed as healthcare providers and tell them that Nestle infant formula was the future of childcare. This resulted in many infants dying, thousands of infants dying. Same goes for the opioid crisis, in which Purdue Pharma and multiple other opioid manufacturers lied about the effectiveness of their opioids. They told doctors that it could be used to root out addictiveness, when in reality, their own internal studies showed that that was not the case. Hearing corporate lies like this makes people less trusting of corporations, especially corporations that involve themselves with healthcare. And these gaps in trust create serious problems for public health. When people don't trust healthcare, then they start subscribing to alternative health behaviors, such as avoiding using sunscreen, avoiding doctor's checkups, avoiding research, and avoiding vaccines. And these also have real consequences. For example, there have been multiple measles outbreaks in populations that should have been vaccinated, but choose not to be vaccinated because they believe in a conspiracy on some level. Now, the question of how do we solve these problems and how do we get rid of these conspiracies is a lot more complicated than it sounds. It's easy to say, stop doing horrible things. Just have corporations stop lying and have governments stop discriminating against people. That is obviously not really an answer. So what really needs to be done is systemic change on multiple fronts, and I think that's where critical medical anthropology comes in. Now, critical medical anthropology is a pretty complex field, and it's too complex to address in this medium. But really, the message is that critical medical anthropologists, since they're in such a diverse field, they have the ability to address not just systemic barriers, but also political and cultural barriers and roots that lead to conspiracy theories. Finally, the take-home message I just want to leave everyone with is that conspiracy believers, on the surface, there is some smidge, some notion of a systemic critique in there. On some superficial level, they perceive a problem with the world And they're right. Healthcare spending increases every year, outcomes don't improve, and all while that occurs, the government continues to cut public health funding for marginalized populations. Health outcomes continue to deteriorate in marginalized populations. They're right to feel that something is wrong. They just need help to show them what it is and what they can do about it. Thank you.